who is going to ultimately uses the benefits of the products whatever has been produced here. They are guiding the people here. If anything happens to you, so you can approach the court or you can sue the person who has sold the product to you. Either he may be the seller or the manufacturer. The seller has made the unfair trade practices at the time of contract of sale of goods or selling the goods to the consumer. Warm welcome to 4th SEM BCom students. The subject we're discussing, business regulatory framework. In the previous session, we have completed our Unit 2, Sale of Goods Act 1930, and in today's session, we are starting Competition and Consumer Protection Act. So each and every person should know that one. So who is a consumer? If anything happens to the consumer, so which are the agencies or councils are there to support them in case of default or defect, either the quality defect, it may be in the shortage of quantity, whatever it may be that one, how they can proceed to claim the damages. So these concepts will be discussed in this session or in the entire Consumer Protection Act 1986. I'm Professor Rajesh L.R. from Department of Commerce and Management from Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence. In today's session, the agenda what we have here, the Consumer Protection Act 1986, objectives of the Act, definition of complainant and complaint, consumer dispute, defect, person, consumer disputes related agencies, how many agencies are there and how they're going to support for us. There's a concept what we have in today's session. The first concept we are going to learn here, the Consumer Protection Act 1986. It says that one, simply it has given a clear-cut information for all the people here. See, the act was enacted to protect the consumer interest, means they want to support for the consumers and how they're supporting and what are the rules and regulations are there and how they can get the support in case of anything happens to the consumer's life or while having the dealing of trading activities like buying the goods, either it may be shortage or defect, either it may be the quality may be a defect or any other issues are there, how it can be solved and whom they have to approach and how they can approach, through whom they have to approach. Every concept has been clearly informed in the Consumer Protection Act 1986. Motivation behind this act is to empower consumers, uphold their rights, means the rights of the consumer should be supported here and they want to satisfy the consumers. Consumer is a person who is going to ultimately uses the benefits of the products whatever has been produced here. To balance power with well-organized and dominating traders. The people are in the market, they're dominating and they're in such a way that when they are making a wrong utilization of the market. They want to forcibly sell the products in the market and they doesn't want to check what is the benefits are there for the consumers and other part here. Applicability. The act extends to entire India excluding Jammu and Kashmir. It covers all types of goods and services, whatever we have in the market, but it should be specified in the central government concepts. Effective date. The Consumer Protection Act 1986 came into force from 15th April 1987. The act was made in 1986, but it came into existence from 15th April 1987. So what are the objectives are they? So the main objective of the Consumer Protection Act was to better protection of consumer interest. Means, say, they want to protect the consumer here in such a way that when they are guiding the people here, if anything happens to you, so you can approach the court or you can sue the person who has sold the product to you. Either he may be the seller or the manufacturer. So we should know when we can sue the manufacturer or the seller, under what circumstances can be sued the seller or the manufacturer, and what are the documents are required, and whom I have to approach, where I have to go and submit my complaint, and what is the procedure to file a case. So all these things to support the consumer, the act was made here. Protection of consumer. The consumer has all the rights in case, because the consumer has paid the money to acquire the product here, is not taken in a free, even though it is taken in the free or he has paid the price for that one, he is having all the rights to claim the damages, whatever it has happened to the consumer. Consumer Protection Councils we have here, it is a 3-tier we are going to call: District Commission, State Commission, and National Commission. These are the 3 commissions what we have here which supports the consumers. Quasi-judicial machinery for dispute resolutions. So here, in some of the concept, there will be a huge disputes between the manufacturer and the consumer that can be judicially solved without any issues. So now we'll go one by one with the definitions what we have here. Complainant. Complainant is nothing but a consumer or any volunteer consumer association registered on the Companies Act 1956. Earlier it was 1956. Now Companies Act 2013 modified as per that. Either it may be any voluntary registered organization or a consumer. The central government or any state government who or which makes a complaint, either the consumer may be even the central government or the state government or any normal person. One or more consumers, where there are numerous consumers having the same interest, when the problem has taken place in the market, for not for one consumer, plenty of consumers have faced the same or similar issues from the same product. So at that time, either one or more consumers can approach the court for the damages, whatever it has happened. In case of death of a consumer, for using the product, if anything happens to the consumer, the legal aids of the family can file a case on the seller or the manufacturer. They have to prove that one, because of using this particular commodity only, the death of the consumer was happened. The next we have a complaint. Means any allegation in writing. Means when I want to make a complaint here, so it should be in a written format. I have to clearly inform an unfair trade practice or a restrictive trade practice has been adopted by any trade or service provider. Whether the seller has made the unfair trade practices at the time of contract of sale of goods or selling the goods to the consumer. The goods bought by him or agreed to be bought by him suffer from one or more defect. The goods which I have already decided to buy, or the goods which I'm going to buy, it has more defective concepts in the product. In such cases, I can write a complaint in a written format and it can be filed with either district or state or national commission. The services either availed or agreed to be or availed of by him suffer from deficiency in any respect. Like for example, some people say that when we are going to give the service, and if they're not given the service, if any damages takes place for the person who wants to receive the service, he can file a case in a written concept here. A trader or the service provider has charged for the goods or for the service mentioned in the complaint the price in excess of the price. I mean, they're saying that when instead of selling the product for 500, the MRP of the product is 500, but they're selling the product where there is an MRP as 500 at 650 or 750. At that time, I can file a case. Fixed by or under any law for the time being in force. Displayed on the goods or any package containing such goods. Displayed on the price list exhibited by him. Agreed between the parties. Like this, if any 4 points, whatever we have read here, if anything, one, it is there, I can sue him easily. Goods which will be hazardous to life and safety when used are being offered for sale to the public in contravention of any law for the time being in force. They're saying that when we know that clearly the product what they are selling is hazardous to the life of the people who are residing or they are going to use the product here, even though they know that one, if they're dealing that one without giving any instructions or without any safety or security for the product here, at that time I have all the rights. Service which are the service what they're giving, like for example, the cab services, whatever if the cab driver is very rashly is driving the car here, the service provided by the cab facility people here is not satisfied. In such cases, I can file a case on the cab services. Who is a consumer? Consumer of goods buys any goods for a consideration, where I'm going to buy a commodity by paying the amount for the final consumption. Say here two terms we should know that when customer and consumer. Customer is a person who is going to buy the commodity to resell, but a consumer is going to buy the commodities for using its benefits. Is a final person who is going to use all the benefits of the product and consumes the product here. Consumer of services or avails of any person who has got the benefits of the service received by him is called the consumer of services. Now, in this case, either he may buy the goods or he may get the benefits of the services, whatever he is willing to have. So, anyone who has paid the money, and either he may be a consumer of goods or consumer of services. Consumer disputes. Consumer dispute means a dispute where the person against whom a complaint has been made denies or disputes the allegations contained in the complaint. When I approach the seller and I inform that the product is totally defect, it has to be made services, or I want a new product. When the seller denies to provide such after sale services to me here, and it doesn't agrees that one, and it doesn't give the services or it doesn't give the benefits of the product properly, so I have made a complaint in such a way that one, stating that one, the product which was purchased from the seller with the name, date and time, and even submitted the documents of the invoice bill or the bill whatever I received for the purchase of the product here, and even sending through a letter registered post to the seller stating that one, I have purchased the product from you on such and such date, and the product is totally defective product what you sold to me. Either I want the new product, or the product should be serviced immediately without charging anything, and it should not damage the life of the people who are residing with me. So for such report whatever I made, or a complaint whatever made, if the seller denies to give the service or the new product for me, I have all the rights, stating that one, I have informed orally, and even I have written complaint was made to the seller regarding the issue what I am facing here, and in such case the seller has not agreed here, the same issue is called as dispute. This can be taken into district commission or state commission or national commission. Defect means here the fault what we have in the product. Either it may be the default of the product ingredients or packaging, or it may be in anything. So in that, if there is any mistakes are there, makes or manufactures any goods or parts thereof, does not make or manufacture any goods but assembles parts thereof made of manufactured by other. The person who is either is manufacturing or is making only the packing of the goods, or majority of the products already manufactured by third party, and I'm just assembling that one and I'm selling that one product here, even though the product has been assembled by me, and the complaint will be made on my business itself. So here I should be very careful while doing the assembling of the product business here, and I have to check the product thoroughly, and then I have to sell, or else if there is any defect in that one, the consumer has all the rights to file a case on me. Who is a person? A person may be a firm, whether he is registered or not. Hindu undivided family, cooperative society, every other association of person will registered under the Societies Registration Act. So here, the person is maybe anyone here, either it may be a firm, HUF, cooperative society, or any trust or society where they're registered under Societies Act. So these people are called as a person under Consumer Protection Act 1986. Next we have where we can file a case or how the case has to be filed, and is it whether I have to file a case in the district or state or national commission. The object of the Consumer Protection Act is to provide better protection to the consumer. To secure this object, the Act intends to provide simple, speedy, and inexpensive redressal to the consumer grievances. Whatever the problems are facing by the consumer, for them, the government has made a supportive concept here in the way of Consumer Protection Act with 3 cycle or 3 tier, what we're going to call here, either district or state or national commission. Based on the amount of dispute what we are filing, so based on that, it may be district or state or national commission, we can file the case. We are going to discuss this concept in the upcoming session in detail, district commission and state commission as well as national commission. In the next session, we are going to have procedure on receipt of complaint, power of district forum, findings of district forum, state commission and national commission. The every concept of the commission will be discussed in the upcoming session. Thank you to all 4th Sem BCom students. In today's session, we learned about what was the objective of Consumer Protection Act. In the same time, the definitions of the words which are there in the Consumer Protection Act as complaint, complainant, and consumer disputes, defect, and other information. Thank you to all.